No, but I mean, she's sort of she's a little bit of a villain in ways, but I mean, I think she's delicious and fun, and so it was nice to just like, you know, as we were talking about facades, just like let all the facades down and just really just like work on disappointment across the board. It was like everything that I tried not to be growing up. I just got to be in this film. Really low expectations.
Yeah,
really.
You guys will
It's gonna
love
be
it.
terrible. You're
It's
gonna hate
like,
it.
Wow.
Because I'm, you know, just really a toddler at heart, and I thought I'm in. For me, that was one of the first meetings with Paul because in the script she was wearing, you know, skin tight, low cut, short dresses because she was this mom who wanted attention, who, you know, all the other parents were like, oh God, here she is, she's so over the top, and I just felt like that was really tired, and it was also a sort of simplistic version of who this woman could be.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. The morality clause. This has been a hot topic. Did one exist? Did not one exist? There were questions very early on that perhaps the morality clause was in the contract between Colleen Hoover and Justin Baldoni when he purchased the rights to the books, and that by breaking such clause would enable Colleen Hoover to get the rights back to her book. It was a good theory. It was brought up by someone that worked in the industry, and it was a way to sort of try to make sense of a nonsensical, very confusing situation. Now, Justin Baldoni's attorneys have already said that there was no such morality clause that existed in the contract between Colleen Hoover and Justin Baldoni. He owns the rights to It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us without any contracts, without any clauses. It's a done sale. Colleen Hoover will never own the rights to those books adapted into movies. She can't use any other production companies. Wayfair has the right to make the sequel regardless of this dispute that's going on with Blake Lively. Now, for Blake, she's admitted throughout the years that she likes to take over production company productions when she's hired. She likes to bear false witness and pretend like she's being just hired as an actress, and then she takes over the film and exerts her control. You just saw in that video in the very beginning that she admitted that when she was cast as Emily in A Simple Favor, she saw how Emily was dressed and supposed to be in the wardrobe for the film, and that didn't work for her. So she had to change the entire wardrobe for Emily, and she made Emily basically wear pantsuits the entire film. So Blake Lively also didn't have a morality clause, but she found a way to get a clause of sorts that gave her a lot of power. And when she used that power, she was able to get control of the film. So in a way, what we'll talk about is actually a morality clause. Is it a morality clause? Is it not a clause? Or is it just extortion? When Blake Lively signed her contract for It Ends With Us, she was given a vanity credit, which is a credit given to lead actresses where they're allowed to be executive producers, but they don't have to contribute anything more to the film. And she wanted more than just a vanity credit. She wanted to be in charge of the directing. She wanted to be in charge of the wardrobe. She wanted to be in charge of the script. She wanted to do the editing. She wanted to do all of it. She wanted to be in charge of the marketing. She did not want to have to say yes to anyone. She wanted to be the person. She wanted to be the everything. Well, when you have valid complaints for someone, against someone, if you were to bring your complaints forward, retaliation would be that they retaliate against you because you brought those complaints forward. Retaliation can be intimidation, it can be unfair treatment on the set, it can be trying to smear someone's name, cause them harm. I mean, there's so many different ways people can be retaliated against. They can be stalked, they can be harassed. But for Blake, she took this quite literally. In order to gain control, she used the retaliation clause against Justin, Jamie, and Wayfair Studios and Sony. And through that clause, anytime they said no to her, she would threaten to sue them because she would claim that it was illegal to retaliate against her under the law. So if you say no to Blake because Blake says, I want to see the dailies, and you say no, Blake can say, you're retaliating against me because I brought form complaints about this unsafe work environment, and you're not letting me see the dailies because of that. Now, it doesn't matter that her contract doesn't allow her to see the dailies. It doesn't matter that she has no contractual right to see the dailies, that she's not a director, that she's not the main producer. That doesn't matter to her. She uses the retaliatory clause to get access to the dailies, to get access to the editing, to get access to the director's cut, to the film cut, to the music, to taking over the film. I was recently watching a channel, Ask Two Lawyers, and they were discussing about the veracity of the sexual harassment claims by Blake Lively. And they were very succinct when they said that Blake Lively wants to separate herself from the extortion. And she wants to claim that the sexual harassment that happened on set had nothing to do with the fact that she took over the film. And that Justin and his team are only bringing this up to deflect from what the severe misconduct that occurred on the set. Now, these attorneys made the point to say that if she had not brought those claims, would she have been able to extort them to get what she wanted? Would she have been able to unilaterally push them out of the film if she didn't have that clause in there that they couldn't retaliate? No. So Blake wants to separate herself desperately from the claim and say that these claims are separate and sole, and I didn't get any extra power whatsoever because I had this clause, because I brought forth these claims. That's just nonsense. But did she get extra power? She did, because she got to control how the editing of what she looked like on scene during intimate scenes. She got to bring in her own producer, all certain kinds of cuts in her likeness and how her face was used on the images for the promotions had to be approved by her. She was able to have a representative on the set. She was able to stronghold them. And then she also added the retaliation clause, basically saying that if you retaliate against me at any time, we'll sue you. And I realized that this is what she was doing when I looked at a letter that her attorney sent to the Baldoni camp back in January, because they went very public and they filed a CRD complaint and then they gave it to the New York Times. Baldoni's attorneys went on the defense and offense and went public and defended the claims. And because of that retaliatory clause, Blake truly believed, delusionally, that she could put this out publicly. And she believed that because of the retaliation clause, they would never be able to respond. Because in a letter that was dated December 23rd, this letter serves to remind you of your ethical obligations to notify you that you have defamed and engaged in further unlawful retaliation against Miss Lively, and to demand that you immediately cease and desist from making further defamatory and retaliatory statements. So she believed that she could file a legal complaint and put whatever nonsense was in that complaint and say whatever she wanted that was egregious and disturbing and awful, but that because of this clause, they under the law could not do anything at all. And they told his lawyers that if they continued, they would have new claims for defamation. And they told the lawyers that they knew willingly that these statements they were making in the public were false. And they flat out said, you're retaliating against us. It says, for starters, your statement falsely asserts that there was no proactive measures taken with media or otherwise, that the representatives of Wayfair Studios still did nothing proactive nor retaliated and only responded to incoming media inquiries to ensure balanced and fair factual reporting and monitored social activities. Those claims are false. As you know, Wayfair Studios deployed numerous proactive measures with traditional and social media and did much of the work before Wayfair ever received incoming media inquiries. That's not true. She believed, when I was reading these documents, it clicked. She believed that she could file that CRD complaint. She believed that if she filed the CRD complaint, they were bound by that clause for retaliation, and believed that Justin Baldoni would never be able to speak about it. His lawyers wouldn't be able to defend it, and he would have to stay silent. I think that she believed she could bury him with that CRD complaint and he could do nothing about it. And so they tried to get a gag order, and they tried to say, you're retaliating against us and you're defaming her and you can't retaliate against us. She's wielding this complaint again, the 17 points. She's using it again as a form for leverage, for power, and for control. So she wants the control in the public narrative. She wants control of the film, and she wants to deny them the right to defend themselves. Mind you, no finding of facts were ever made about inappropriate conduct on the set. There was no investigation. And there was no investigation because there was no formal HR complaint. She never contacted HR. She never contacted SAG. She didn't do any of those things. Instead, she went straight to, I'm going to sue you. And if you retaliate, here, I'll sue you more. So truthfully, the morality clause was the retaliation point on that 17-point document. And that was used by Lively in order to seize control of the film. If you make claims against someone and you then use those claims to get power, to extort, to gain access to things that you're not supposed to have, to be able to control a movie, to take over the rights of a film, because you know this thing about these people, even if it's true or not, but then you get them to sign a document that says, if you say anything, I'll retaliate, I will sue you. And then if I sue you, you can't say anything. The reason why they can speak, though, and what Miss Blake doesn't understand is once you sue someone, they can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want in documents. They can file anything. Justin and his team could say anything defamatory about her that they wanted to, because there's absolute privilege for defamation and litigation. And that means people can say malicious things during a testimony in documents. They can say whatever the hell they want and they cannot be sued. And they're trying to attach statements made by Baldoni's team as defamation, which I don't think is going to stick because it happened during litigation. But if Lively didn't have that clause, would she have been successful in gaining control over the film? She couldn't have. When she was in the rhythm section, which was the last film she had made prior to the release of It Ends With Us, she had no control. She was in disputes with producers. She wanted the film to be shot a certain way. She wanted the storyline to go a certain way. And the producers and the directors were firm. They did not agree. They did things the way they wanted to do it. They did not take her opinions at all. And and part of the reason why it took so long for that film to be made and to be released was due to on-set tensions between Lively and the production. And she had no leverage whatsoever. She was only paid as an actress. She had no vanity credits at all. And when she was unable to get what she wanted in that film, and when that film bombed, she found a way to get what she wanted in this film, and it didn't matter the lengths that she had to take. And when it comes to, and that's my opinion, and when it comes to Colleen Hoover, if she knows that she wants the rights to her movie, It Starts With Us, if she decides she wants more control, and if she's been told by Blake that she'll get more control if she goes with her, what better way for the two of them to get her rights back by pushing this concept of these claims? I don't know necessarily that Colleen knew about the sexual harassment claims. I don't know that she knew about it until May or June of 2024. I don't know that she knew about this clause even. I don't know what Blake was telling her. What I've learned about Blake from covering the story is she tells people what they want to hear. And so does Ryan. They both love bomb people. They both make people think they're going to be getting access to things and you saw what she did to Baldoni and promises dragons and power and influence. So you have no idea what she's telling to Colleen. But whatever she told her was enticing enough. And I think that that's why she kept saying, well, if you get your rights back, I'll go wherever you're going. So this retaliatory thing that she put out, this retaliatory clause, what better way to get the sequel if you're Blake Lively? If you want It Starts With Us and he won't sell it to you, what could you do? Well, you could file a CRD complaint. You could believe that this retaliatory clause will prevent him from defending himself. And then you'll use that to bury him and force him to sell and give you the rights to It Starts With Us. Just a theory, but it's a decent one. And just to pause here and give you an update, because I told you last week that Leslie Sloan wants to get out of this lawsuit. And I told you last week that when the judge ruled on the modified protective order, that they would start trying to not give discovery. Does anyone remember this? Guess who's already trying to get out of giving discovery? Leslie Sloan. I told you that they would do everything they can. First, they're going to want the protective order. Then, when they're asked for discovery, then they're going to fight about discovery. And then they're going to say, you need to pause discovery. I'm not ready to give discovery. Oh, it's just too much. It's too arduous. Well, Leslie Sloan is now demanding that there's a pause, a stay on the discovery, and doesn't want to hand over anything until she finds out whether or not the case is dismissed. Because if the case is dismissed, then she won't have to produce as much as what they're demanding. Leslie doesn't want to give up documents. These PR people and Blake Lively don't want to give anything up. All of them took the steps to initiate this step against Justin, and their actions since prove that none of them are serious about moving forward. If they were serious, all of these delays wouldn't be happening. So now suddenly Leslie's like, no, I don't want to give you discovery either. I guarantee you that the next course of action will be Blake and Ryan will file a motion to dismiss, and then they will say, we need a pause on discovery. Guarantee it. All of this is just intimidation to try to wear him out, in my opinion, so they can still get control and power over that film. If I were her PR consultant, I would tell her she needs to tap out now before it gets worse. She needs to make an apology. She needs to acknowledge she made a mistake. She thought it was something else. She can blame it on whatever. She can use her abusive husband as the deflective tool. She should divorce Ryan, blame it on, hormones or mental illness or whatever, and leave and get out. Because the longer this drags on, the worse it's getting for her. It's going to be harder for her to recover the more this drags on. So, what are your thoughts about this proposed morality clause? Do you think they conspired together? Do you think that Blake used this as a tool and then Colleen realized it would be a way to get control? Do you think Colleen was even a part of it? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.